But who will join them? Next up on the agenda, Cavalier against the defending champions Harbour View, and we are live from Sabina Park. Well, this is a bracket, and you see Mount Pleasant getting the better of Arnett Gardens 5-3 on aggregate. Cavalier, they have the advantage heading into this second leg. They lead by a goal to nil. How will the story of this second leg play out? Let's now hear from the coaching staff of both these teams, starting with Harbour View and their head coach, or rather, let's start off with Cavalier and their head coach, or technical director rather, Rudolph Speed.
Coach Speed, it was a big performance in the first leg, especially defensively. What do you think that was down to for your team? Was it a tactical thing or just the players really stepping up?
Well, it's step up time. I mean, you have to just play as hard as you can. Don't give away anything. That's what we achieved last time.
And last time out, of course, you made some changes in terms of Irving being in your back three, but consistency at the heart of your defense, Kyle being your captain, what sort of impact does he have on your team week in, week out?
Oh yeah, he's probably the best defender in the league now. But back to Irving, he gives us a lot of flexibility because he's actually a left-footed player from the left centre half. So I think it worked out very well. He was able to play out from the back more fluently.
Orlando Russell scored again last week. He certainly seems to love Harbour View.
Oh, definitely. I mean, he's from that era also, so I don't know if that's the reason. But he's one of those players that can turn up and change a game.
Of course, Cavalier were champions in 2021. What would it mean for you and your fans to replicate this feat?
Well, it would be good for us. I mean, last year we thought, we played such an excellent game and still drop out. So it's just a consistency that makes our fans happy and the players happy and the whole Cavalier family. So that's what we're trying to achieve.
As we take a look at our player to watch, striker Shanil Thomas, and what an influence he has been since he's returned to the starting lineup. It's going to be interesting to see how he and Colin Anderson pair up. Of course, Anderson is the leading striker for Cavalier this season with 17 goals, but Thomas has been wonderful so far this season, and well, let's see what he has in store for us in this second leg semi-final. It's now time to hear from the Harbour View camp and their head coach Dudley Bernard.
Coach Bernard, your team had the better of the play, especially in the first half last week. A lot of good attacking moves, but you couldn't finish your chances. What do you think that was down to, and how do you plan to fix that for this game?
Well, clearly, we still have to maintain some good possession because we still have to dominate the game. But the critical thing is how effective we can be in breaking lines and of course getting some footballs into the box and get us into challenging position in and around the goal. The last time we played, I don't think we had sufficient shots on target, so we'd have to increase that tally today.
Cavalier are a team that are really potent, especially on the break. How do you plan to stop what they try to do and counteract that for your team?
Well, it's going to be difficult to stop them. I think in 3 games we have done very well in terms of putting out the counter, so we'll have to continue doing that. Clearly I would have things in place for that, but the emphasis right now is for us to go out there and get the go-ahead goal, and of course while being cautious with what transpires at the back.
Christian Daly was a real live wire for your team in the first leg. Is that something that you expect again in the second leg?
Yes, I do expect Christian to come to the table today, come to the party today, and of course I also expect the other players to really turn up today. This is a do or die game, and of course we're not counting on any single individual to really get the job done, so this has to be a team effort.
Well, he returns to the starting lineup. Colorado Murray, there was some concern with injuries that he's had in the latter part of this season, but he appears to be okay to make his way into the starting lineup, and it's going to be interesting to see how he handles the stress of this second leg semi-final. We'll take a quick break here from Sabina Park. When we return, we'll see more of a smiling Dudley Bernard, I suspect, and the starting lineups of both these teams on the other side of this break. Stay with us. The story of the Jamaica Premier League is in its final stages here, and we anticipate a dramatic conclusion. We've already seen a bit of drama with Mount Pleasant going through to the final. Who will join them? The last two winners of this cup. Well, they face off Cavalier against the defending champions Harbour right here at Sabina Park. These two, they have met some 27 occasions. Harbour with an 11-10 record, 11 wins, 10 defeats over Cavalier. There have been 6 drawn results as well. And as far as recent contests is concerned, you see the last 5 results, and of course the most recent, Cavalier with a 1-0 advantage from the semi-final first leg. We are ready for battle, and the Cavalier, they have seen this all before. Annette's Gardens has descended from this Jamaica Premier League, even with a red moon in the background. And maybe, just maybe, a blue moon will rise through Mount Pleasant. But who will join them? That's the question as the anthem is being played. The perennial young boys in the league, Cavalier, they are champions twice of this Jamaica Premier League. Dressed in their usual white kit, they know what it's like to be here, and led by their talisman in Colin Anderson, they want to impress even more. Yep, the perennial young boys against the winners, Harbourview, the defending champions on 5 occasions in the Jamaica Premier League on this land. They'll be glad that Colorado Murray is back in their ranks. How long will he last? They needed his experience up top. We anticipate a really big one here, and we'll now pause for the playing of the national anthem.
Of the national anthem.
The massive audience still inside Sabina Park, having witnessed one semi-final. They have stayed to watch the other.
These two can go to advance directly into the final against only a draw. However, should Harbour win by a single goal in overtime and will go to extra time.
Sticks are set. Christopher Mason is the man in the middle. Jermaine Easing, Joshua Jackson will assist him. Alexi Perry, the fourth official.
Your thoughts, Lejay, on this matchup?
Well,
The first leg definitely wasn't as exciting as the first leg of the other encounter, or the second leg for that matter, but it's an intriguing tactical battle. We're going to see the Harbour View lineup in a while. They said that it's a 4-2-3-1, but I think there will be some variety to that. So it's going to be a really tense game, a game that's won and lost in the midfield area. Can Harbour View defend against the transitional threats of Cavalier? Can Harbour View pose a threat against his Cavalier backline that has been so good?
Here's the Cavalier starting lineup, 3 at the back as usual in front of Vino Bartlett, Gadale Irving, Kyle Ming and Giovanni Leng. In the middle of the park, Christopher Ainsworth, Nickashay Murray, Adrian Reed and Jerome McCleary. Up top, Ronaldo Webster and Shanil Thomas, alongside Colin Anderson, of course, with 17 goals to his name this season.
Colin Anderson, of course, the standout goal scorer, but be on the lookout, of course, for Gadale Irving, who his manager Rudolph Speed praised right before the game about his eloquence in terms of passing the ball out.
Harbour View doing some patchwork in their squad. Injuries abound. Romario Palmer remains between the sticks. The back four of Odilon Harding, Ryan Wellington, Ajani Talbot and Romain Brackenridge. In the middle of the park, Shamari Dyer and Jashawn Anglin and Krista J. Daly will be playing as the attacking midfielder. Timar Lewis on the left, O'Shane Staple given an attacking role on the right hand side. Colorado Murray through the middle. Of course, Murray with 6 goals to his name this season.
I expect a lot of fluidity from this Harbour View lineup, listed as I said as a 4-2-3-1, but I wouldn't be surprised if we see a 3 at the back system that they favoured against Portmore in the link-up, and maybe Harding and of course Staple can bump forward and cause Cavalier a lot of threat going forward. Colorado Murray there looked a bit injured in the first leg, has missed a little bit of time. Let's see what kind of impact he can have. He is certainly a big game player.
Yep, he has had a week to recover, Colorado Murray. And he's had some losses in terms of personnel this season, Rudolph Speed. But the pairing of Shanil Thomas and Colin Anderson would put a smile on his face.
And Cavalier with a lead is a very dangerous proposition. They'll soak up pressure all game long and wait to hit teams on the break with blistering speed. And when you speak about speed and the Jamaican Premier League, there's no one faster, no one more lethal in that aspect than Colin Anderson. What will Harbour View do to counteract that? It remains to be seen. Who will join Mount Pleasant in the final? Let's see.
Harbour View will be kicking off. They'll be kicking towards the Caribbean Sea and downtown Kingston. Cavalier, of course, in all white, will be kicking towards the Crossroads and New Kingston area. Just waiting on the hand to cross over at the top of the hour. All is in place. The second leg semi-final on the way here at Sabina Park. Who will join Mount Pleasant in the final next Sunday right here? Maybe the opening moments will indicate something as to how these teams will play, how they set up. If it's as straightforward as was listed.
Certainly from early indications, it looks straightforward for Harbour View. Kyle Ming over, doing defensive work early. Felt he was fouled in that altercation.
Kept in play by Murray, and that was nothing short of ambitious from the striker.
Yeah, O'Shane Staple was at the back post in acres of space, couldn't find him. But I think it is going to be as straightforward as listed. Staple playing very high on that right hand side, Harding not doing the same. Rudolph Speed doesn't often do too much tinkering, but he does have the advantage in this one.
Yep, this is a season of stability really, but they did lose Dwayne Atkinson and Richard King in the transfer market.
Long throw coming up.
Yeah, it seems that way. Cavalier known for time management. There's a tremendous throw, but Palmer collects easily, and Staple is on it, trying to utilize his speed and get by Christopher Ainsworth.
That's going to be a big race for the rest of this game.
Would have to utilize his strength as well. O'Shane Staple. There is the Bernard. Skipping along the touchline. Seems to be in good spirits. Hoping to make another final Lord Bernard. Irving looking for Anderson. Still searching. Well, here they come through Krista J. Daly. Daly threading that through. Delightful ball to Staple. He was under pressure, you know. He was under real pressure. Couldn't unleash the shot. Staple. And in the end, Vina Bartlett graciously accepted. What a ball that was, though, from Krista J. Daly.
And he's going to be key if Harbour of you are going to get back into this one, Krista J. Daly. So to this man, Joshawn Anglin.
Here's Timar Lewis now. Was Murray clipped?
Apparently not. It's a throw-in.
And it's a throw-in to Cavalier. Was that an apology from Ming?
Yeah, probably. Has a real cannon on his arm, Ming, or should I say Leng, now playing on that right hand side of the back three, with Irving playing on the left hand side.
Lewis, Anglin, Brackenridge on the right hand side now. Dyer sends it out wide, looking for his former captain, Harding. Anglin. Lewis. Well, almost a lovely ball through to Daly. There's the current skipper, Wellington. Ryan Wellington. 3 goals to his name so far this season. Thomas picks it up and has some space to work with. Webster trying to thread that one through. Easily read by Brackenridge. And now Shamari Dyer to Murray. Murray, that wasn't the best pass forward, was it? Well, this is the ball over the top to find Colin Anderson. Anderson, well, there was a deflection there of Harding. Could have gone anywhere, but it's a corner kick.
And it was a
Cavalier.
It was a critical deflection as well.
One way or the other, right?
Yeah. Chanel Thomas was stealing in. If you see it here, he was ready and primed to divert that one goalwards. And it will be a Christopher Ainsworth delivery. Let's see what he can conjure up.
Ainsworth Sending this one inside. Leng was trying to get on the end of it. This is Timar Lewis driving forward. Has help from O'Shane Staple. Decided to go goalwards. You know, Staple didn't have the best game last time out at right back in the first leg semi. Just didn't seem as if he was up to it. And he looks a little bit off colour so far. But let's see if he'll be able to improve. Brackenridge with a long throw, still inside and trying to hit that one on the volley. A really ambitious effort there from Krista J. Daly.
But ambitious is his middle name after all. Loves trying the audacious. And when it comes off, it's quite superb. Not on that occasion, however.
For the record, Leger, his middle name is DeMario, but I get your point.
As usual, Donald, thank you very much for your knowledge.
There's Krista J. DeMario Daly. And it's lost in a dangerous area. Webster. Well, fed it wide, well wider than he intended. Now it's sent inside again, looking again for Webster. And a shot from distance from Murray. Well wide. It's actually gone out for, well, it's actually a goal kick. Thought it went out for a throw, it was that close.
The goal for Cavalier early in this one would really force the hand of Harbourview.
Webster sending this one, looking for Anderson, headed out by Talbot. Safely collected by Palmer. Talbot has to be careful here, hounded by Anderson illegally, according to the referee. Harding. Lovely scoop to Timar Lewis. Harding continues his overlapping run, but Lewis decides to cut inside, trying to feed Staple.
Already seeing that Harbourview are a little bit lopsided. Brackenridge not venturing forward as much as his other counterpart in terms of fullback.
Lewis sends it high, and out comes Bartlett. McCleary and Reed dinks this one inside, looking for Anderson. Oh yes, Colin Anderson, his 18th goal this season, now tied with Trevante Stewart. It was there for him to head it, and the execution was proper. And Cavalier with the 1-0 advantage over Harbourview, 2-0 now in aggregate.
Cavalier patient and then lethal. Ball into the box. Colin Anderson seemed hungry to get it.
Palmer in no man's land. Talbot likewise. It might have been a own goal, I'm not quite sure, but of course Colin Anderson will claim it. He doesn't care. And Cavalier won't either, because they're now 2 goals up over the reigning defending champions of the Jamaica Premier League. And Harbour View will have to dig themselves out of a huge hole if they plan to join Mount Pleasant in this final.
Well, both played through almost, looking for Tamar Lewis as they try to respond immediately. Play continues, even as the Cavalier player is down, and Murray sends it long, and it's held by Bartlett.
Who seems much more sure than Romario Palmer in the opposing net. I think once you come out as a goalkeeper, you have to get some contact on the ball. You can't let a attacking player out jump you.
Especially when you have the advantage of hands.
Exactly.
Adrian Reed landed hard as he tried to win a header there.
Of course, Adrian Reed there, young player, goes to school mere seconds, a stone's throw from Sabina Park. He'll of course claim the assist. Yeah, that's a tough landing. Claim the assist for that opening Cavalier goal. But Harbour View now, they set up to stop the transitional threats of Cavalier, but it's the set threat that has again been their undoing. How will they respond? They have to.
Well, here's a shot from distance. Webster letting fly. Morris sending that one inside, and easy clearance by Cavalier. Anderson with the hope of getting by Talbot.
Probably thought that Talbot was a little bit tighter to him there, so he could roll him. Talbot gave himself some room, defended well.
Lewis, too much for Harding to do. Ming with the intelligent play there, allowing that one to run through to his custodian. He's in some pain, Staple, and the yellow card is out. And Christopher Ainsworth goes into the book. Just caught him there.
Yeah, certainly a nasty challenge there by Christopher Ainsworth. That one was a bit yellowish.
There's a ball inside the area as Harbour View trying to respond. Lewis couldn't quite gather. McCleary trying to go into a next gear. Anderson trying to win that header. Wellington. Now Lewis trying to slip that one through to Daly. Comes across to Breckenridge. Left alone for Anglin. Anglin looking for the traffic to move. It was pretty stationary. Wellington now. Dyer. Murray. Looking to drive forward with purpose. Deflected behind. It's a corner kick.
Colorado Murray playing like a real false nine so far, vacating a lot of space, but I'm not sure if that's the right play, the right tactical foil against a back three, especially if none of the back three are following him into those positions. It's just going to leave the rest of the attackers who are trying to invade that space going into an already crowded one, with Cavalier keeping such a deep line. But let's see how that one develops as the game goes on.
Here's a corner kick at the near post. Thomas. Wonderful stuff. Cavalier. Numbers forward. Can they capitalize? Oh, what a vital interception that was. So necessary from Harding. He and his creator alone at the back. And he stuck a foot out there, did the left back. Game is really open. Krista J. Daly. Murray. Tried to send that one inside the box, but couldn't get by the first defenders. Long throw, looking for Lewis. Was there a handled ball from Lewis? Yeah, there was.
It was confirmed rather quickly. It's a good eye, Donald. You have 4 of them for a reason.
Dyer. Play will be restarted by the referee, who's lost some equipment. Harding finding Dyer. And here's the space once more. Webster has decided to opt out, but then he presses and he's pulled back by Wellington. Referee says play on. He'll revisit that. It's Anderson deflected behind, and I'm sure Wellington will go into the referee's book.
Yeah, no surprises there.
Well, no, nothing's happened as yet. Well, the card is now out.
Webster just wanted that one a bit more. The only thing Wellington seemed to want was a shirt of Ronaldo Webster. Cavalier yet again looking like a huge threat on the break. There's a yellow card finally being brandished.
Yeah, to the Harbour captain. Webster still down. Irving has come across to have a listen, being an absolute nuisance. Can't even have a private team meeting these days.
His argument will be that it's in a very, very public space.
Corner kick comes in. Good delivery at the back post. I'm not sure how late Anderson actually saw that one. It looked to have been wonderful service inside the area. Daly. Anglin. Too much on it? Yeah, too much on it. Brackenridge inside to Dyer. Now Anglin. Oh, he killed that one, Anderson. Couldn't drive his way through though. Anglin was in the way. Lewis now on this right hand side. Gets a return from Daly. Tamar Lewis almost went through his shot as a pass. Harding collects. Sends it across. Cavalier with the clearance. Harbour View still battling, and then they've lost it. A little bit careless from Brackenridge. And out comes Talbot. Talbot with a head start there, just making sure. Picked up by Murray. Murray with the flick inside. Dyer looking to switch the play, but that pass wasn't accurate at all.
Yeah, tried to go for the glory pass instead of the simple one to keep the counter attack going. Shamari Dyer just gave Cavalier back the ball in the end.
Free kick awarded to Cavalier. Late challenge on Webster. Wellington has to be careful. He is on a yellow card after all. Reed's delivery inside the area, no issues there for Palmer. That's a massive clearance. Safety first from Gadale Irving. Breckenridge. Lewis. Murray trying to find Lewis once more. And that's put behind for a throw-in. Well, into touch really for a throw-in. Right next to the corner flag.
Come out on the outside. Hey, lift it up, man.
Just making sure that it didn't go through.
Talbot has given himself a lot of space to deal with anything coming possibly as a counter.
Here's Murray and Harding. Brackenridge dinks this one, and attacking that one was Murray, but couldn't quite reach the ball on that occasion. And the Bartlett will need some assistance.
Well, he is teammates with J.D. White. I think maybe watching that ball a bit too much could have done some damage. Tactical timeout for Cavalier.
Colin Anderson, the difference maker so far in this second leg. And it was Adrian Reed with a ball inside and Anderson with a header. Accomplished finish there. His 18th goal this season. Staple from distance has been making the right decision so far for Shane Staple.
Yeah, but he is in an area that it would be harsh to say that he's not comfortable in, because he is a very good attacking fullback, but it's different when you have to attack from deep as opposed to being the main source of an attack on the wings. I think Harbour would be well served.
That's really good defending by Breckenridge.
Getting maybe Staple into Breckenridge's position at right back and then putting on a natural winger on one of the wings. Or maybe using Krista J. Daly on one, bringing on maybe a Jamon Shepherd, a Garth Stewart.
There was a handle ball there from Webster. Webster was bemused that the call went against him. Staple to Jashawn Anglin. Now Breckenridge. Lewis can't turn, but Anglin can turn. Lewis. Anglin, or rather Murray, trying to force that one through. Now it's with Harding. Harding's ball inside, away from Daly. Harding gets it back. Breckenridge. Harbourview with the majority of the possession at 59%. Daly. Daly to the byline, pulls it across. Ming in the right place. He was pushed by Murray, so he earns his team a free kick.
He said he was in the right place. He usually is. Krista J. Daly going to the left-hand side, trying to impact the game. Ming there to do the mopping up.
Harbourview at the moment looking like an accumulation of mixed parts.
Yeah, I was just about to say that tactically I don't think they're getting it quite right. I mentioned Colorado Murray dropping in, not occupying the defenders as much as he should. He's playing 1 versus 3 centre backs, so he should be trying to occupy them at all times instead of leaving that space. Then in addition to that, the fullbacks, when they're getting forward, Breckenridge has been getting forward much more now since conceding, and Harding on the other side, they're the ones holding the width. And that's a problem, especially on the right-hand side, because Breckenridge isn't necessarily the most nimble player to take on a defender and try and get across in. I think it should be more Lewis trying to hold that width, Breckenridge playing more inside a bit.
Well, here's Webster now for Cavalier. Going wide himself. Cuts it back inside to Shanil Thomas. McCleary now. McCleary's ball inside. Lewis with the clearance. I think Staple sold that.
Yeah, could hear that scream from here. But even Staple out on the left-hand side, I just don't think
It looks odd. It just looks odd.
It's not a good utilization of attacking players.
Daly. I mean, it may still work.
I mean, it could work, yes, but I think in order to get back into this game, as you mentioned, they just look like a lot of players not in natural areas. I think they need to get more of players playing in their preferred roles or close to it if they want to trouble this Cavalier defense.
Thomas couldn't quite grasp that one. Now it goes the other way. Dyer to Anglin. Murray. Dyer. Harding. It was always going to be difficult for him to get there.
I think in the midfield maybe they need a little bit more of progression as well. Not really getting everything right so far, Harbourview. Not saying it's necessarily comfortable for Cavalier, but they don't seem necessarily tested so far by this Harbourview team as much as they've had a lot of possession, a lot of the ball in good areas. They aren't really using it that well.
It looks as if it's a procession at the moment. Cavalier, comfortable. Harbourview, they need to do something. Playing through the press, Harbourview. Lewis lost it. It's a frustrating time for the Stars of the East. They're not shining brightly at the moment. Ainsworth. Now Webster. Webster attacking the space here for Cavalier. Back to Ainsworth. And the finish from Chanel Thomas is shockingly high. And that would have been game, set, match.
Yeah, that's a chance that they wanted to create. Good cutback. Yeah, he just blazed that one high. Had the whole goal to aim at Chanel Thomas. Couldn't direct that one on target. Cavaliers still looking likeliest to score next.
Lewis blasting that one high.
There are Harbourview supporters here. I'm not too sure they're liking what they're seeing so far. They have at least 2 goals to score if they want to, at the very least, equal proceedings or level proceedings.
I don't think I've ever been at a venue which had so many Jamaicans this quiet.
Yeah, because they're not getting anything to cheer about per se. Football hasn't been stunning.
Dyer now. Couldn't win it back. Webster hustling. Oh, he does really well. Such a hard worker, this young man, Ronaldo Webster. Irving now. Murray. Anderson. Switching the play. Nicely done by Talbot. Here's Timar Lewis now. This is Colorado Murray to the byline. Handleball was there. There's a huge appeal from the crowd and the Harbour View bench up in arms there.
That one looked a bit blatant to me. Have to see it again on the replay, but it was good work by Colorado Murray on the wing initially. Definitely seemed to strike a hand. Yeah, but not given.
Lewis trying to thread that one through. Anglin, thinking of a shot and blasted that one wide. Here's a replay of the alleged handled ball incident inside the area. Did strike his hand. Did stop the ball from going across. I've seen those given.
Yeah, we have. Seems eerily similar to the one in the Europa League final that we saw on Thursday. Harbour View mulling over what they can do to break down this Cavalier team. Throughout the season, it's looked as if the only way to really break down Cavalier is to force them to be the aggressors. But when they have scored first on you, it becomes increasingly difficult to draw them out of their defensive shape. You can't really transition on them. And we know that when they are in their defensive shape, best of luck to your attackers.
Brackenridge. Anglin. Brackenridge again. Anglin's ball inside, too much on it. That'll be a throw to Cavalier. It's a lack of quality in the attacking third. That's the issue for Harbour View. You look at the players who are asked to provide the crosses. Do you think that's enough?
No, I think that they need another attacking player, an outright attacking player on the pitch, Harbour View. Even if it is if Colorado Murray does want to vacate the space, I think it would be worth it getting someone like Garth Stewart on for them to play together. They have J. Smith, who is known to create chances as well. Maybe get another creator on. But something definitely needs to change, whether it be from a personnel perspective or a tactical one at the break.
So the challenge, trying to score from the short corner, so to speak. 4 persons here for that Johnson half-time challenge.
Good turn from Daly. Does well to find Staple, but first touch forced him to go wide. Here is again Staple driving that effort. Was the charge down, comes back to Staple. Now Harding. Harding looking for the give and go, almost got it. Another effort from Staple. I think he's taking the most shots in this game. Shane Staple.
Yeah, more than likely. Don't think any of them have been from too threatening of a position.
Well, that was a late challenge, and the yellow card will be shown to Nicochet Murray. Ooh.
Yeah, that's a poor challenge. And Christopher J. Daly dropping deep, trying to impact the game.
It's colliding. Players needing the attention. Ming and Murray. Frustrating time for Harbour View so far. They have offered little. They've not really been allowed to play, and when they do have possession, there's an obvious lack of quality with both service and execution.
Yeah, hasn't really worked out for Harbour View in the first half. A lot to think over during that halftime break.
Five minutes of stoppages will be played.
Both positions in the game, minimum of 5 minutes to be added on the first half.
Dyer.
Score, the local lead by 1 goal to nil. Other it's the score on Andre Cavalier 2. Harbour.
Adrian Reed is the next player who might need a bit of assistance, but he's up. Been in the wars so far in this first half.
How do they keep finding players, Cavalier? How do they keep finding gems to just fill in the gaps left by those gone elsewhere? Adrian Reed, one of them. Lewis. Anglin. Dyer. Harding. Staple. Again another shot, and it's straight down the throat of Bartlett. Well, that's his most accurate attempt to date.
Yeah, it's one that has finally tested Bartlett, but it was a test that I'm sure the Cavalier keeper found relatively comfortable.
Sections of the crowd finding means to entertain themselves. Harbour trying to go further into the attacking third. The ball played inside and trying to get on the end of that one. Wellington was looking for a corner kick to go in his team's favour.
Who else but Kyle Ming, right in the thick of the action. His coach Rudolph Spiel hailed him as the best defender in the league nowadays. He's certainly putting in the performances to back up such high praise.
Quite a few spectators leaving already, trying to beat the traffic. And something else has grabbed their attention, certainly not the football game. Something obviously happening on South Camp Road. Well, something needs to entertain them, if not this game. Webster playing it in the other direction, away from Anderson's run. Dyer. It's been a procession so far. Cavalier, they have the advantage, courtesy of Colin Anderson. His 18th goal this season, joint top scorer in the league now with Trevante Stewart. And Harbourview, they've offered little so far in this match. They trail 2-0 on aggregate, and they have a lot to do to get back into this contest.
2021 champions versus the 2022 JPL champions, and it's the 2021 champions that have the advantage. Cavalier 1-0 up, 2-0 up on aggregate. Cavalier, they knew that Harbour View had it all to do, and it was Harbour View who started the game a little bit better than Cavalier. Mr. J. Daly at the heart, but Shane Staple couldn't get the right purchase on his shot to really test Vina Bartlett. But it was Cavalier who got the right purchase, enough purchase to take the lead. Colin Anderson, 18 for the season, and that's the goal that gave Cavalier a 2-0 lead on aggregate, 1-0 on the night. Harbour View have to dig themselves out of a huge hole if they want to return to the final in the Jamaica Premier League. Colin Anderson, lethal as per usual. Cavaliers still look most likely to score. Ronaldo Webster to Colin Ainsworth. I have no idea how Shanil Thomas didn't finish this one and finish Harbour View's hopes of the season. Clarda Murray looked to make things happen, and that should have been a handball, not seen by the referees. Staple continued plugging away, sting the palms of Vina Bartlett, but in the end it was comfortable, and so were Cavalier in that first half. Harbour View did take a lot of shots, 12 of them, in fact 5 on target to Cavalier's 7, 3 on target, but none of them were too threatening, as you just saw. 9 fouls between both teams, 2 yellow cards for Cavalier, 1 for Harbour View, no reds, no offsides, 3 corners between both teams, 3 saves that had to be made by Vina Bartlett, but none of them too difficult. 1 in the goal by Romario Palmer of Harbour View. Harbour View have a lot of the possession, we're not doing too much with it, but a team who was doing a lot earlier, right before this game in fact, was Mount Pleasant, as they took on Arnett Gardens to decide the fate of the first finalist in the Jamaica Premier League. Let's see those highlights.
As we take a look at the full-time highlights here at Sabina Park, Mount Pleasant, they had a lot of the possession and had a few early chances. Devontae Campbell putting that one on his left foot, and they couldn't find the target, and he would have had a bigger miss later on. And the Gardens, though, against the run-up play, would take the lead, and through DeAndre Cunningham into the starting lineup for the Junglists, setting up that one well, and the shot bursting through the hands of Shaquan Davis, who may be a little bit disappointed with his attempt there. Down at Gardens, they were in front, but they weren't quite in charge, were they? Mount Pleasant had so many opportunities inside the Annie Gardens penalty area, and Trevante Stewart was scintillating. The first touch there was magnificent, and the second touch was really sublime. Phillips with the assist, and just look at this, with the outside of the right boot, and there was little Eric Edwards could have done with that one. Wonderful stuff from Trevante Stewart. And Mount Pleasant, they kept pressing the dink inside and just manhandling his defender there. Trevante Stewart getting by Gerald Neal, who could do little with that one, and becoming the leading goal scorer in the Premier League with his 18th strike there. Kimani Arboyne came on as a substitute for Arnett Gardens, pulled it across to Jaheim Thomas. Thomas hitting it straight to Shaquan Davis, and then Trevante Stewart picking out Campbell. Campbell over the top. How did he miss that one? But they were not to be denied, Mount Pleasant, and this was a good win from Shandy James, who provided the finish. The former Junglist, who would have thought? Not much of a celebration, you can understand that, from Shandy James, and Mount Pleasant with that sealing their place in the Jamaica Premier League finale. And for the first time too, looking ahead to the UEFA Champions League final. Saturday, 2 p.m., 3 p.m. in the Eastern Caribbean time. Manchester City against Inter Milan. And it's going to be live on SportsMax 2. We have a pre-game show for you 1 hour before kickoff. And the second half is about to begin here, with Cavalier with the advantage on the night and on aggregate. 1-0 on the night, 2-0 on aggregate. Jay Williams still with me. Harbour View, they have a whole lot of work to do.
Cavalier, they were the better team, but Harbour View, they have a lot of work to do. I'm assuming that was drilled in by Ludlow Bernard. He's an experienced coach. He knows what it takes to win. After all, Harbour View are the defending champions of this league. But Cavalier with a 2-goal lead, it will be extremely tough for me personally to see how Harbour View can usurp that. But 1 goal brings many. Let's see what Harbour View can do.
Second half is on the way here. Cavalier will be kicking towards the Caribbean Sea. Well, Harbour View in the yellow and blue will be kicking towards the crossroads area. Quite a bit of the crowd has left Sabina Park. Probably around 30%. You're good with math, Leger. Roughly 30%. 35. Here's Anderson. I was thinking of possibly landing a shot there.
Bold of you to assume, by the way.
Well, I'm assuming you went to Campion College for a reason. Ball played inside the area. Murray trying to win it, couldn't. Cavalier defending in numbers, and now is with Anderson. Kept alive by Webster, wonderfully done. Anderson has been a little bit careless in his last couple of possessions. Needs to be wary of that. McCleary.
Yeah, I think this second half will be all about control and management for Cavalier.
Jamari Dyer goes into the referee's book.
That certainly wasn't very controlled by Shamari Dyer.
Probably controlled in the sense he knew exactly what he was doing.
Still no pressure on the ball by Harbour View.
Ball over the top looking for Anderson, not clear properly. Comes through to Webster. And, well, Palmer wasn't sure exactly where he was. Rushed across to try and make the save. And I reckon that it was going well wide, but there was a touch. It's a corner kick to Cavalier. Yeah, it was going wide of the mark. Palmer taking no chances. Wasn't sure where his near post was.
A bit of argy-bargy, to put it lightly, between two very big men in Colin Anderson and Ryan Wellington.
Indeed. Here's a corner kick. Wasn't a very convincing one. Daly couldn't keep it in play. Webster. Thomas. Reed. Lovely stuff. Leng. Murray. Oh, nice. Lovely find out wide. Oh, Ainsworth taken further away. Not sure what he was trying there to get by Lewis, but it didn't work. And now Harbour View, they go the other way. Almost stuck in behind here. Still an opportunity. Lays it off into the path of Timar Lewis on his left. Harbour View, they still have it. Dara. Oh, they give up possession. Ainsworth. Throw into Cavalier. Anglin goes into the referee's book for speech.
You always put that so lightly. Confirmation there of Deshaun Anglin's yellow card.
If we're not careful, this game is going to be very long and drawn out.
I mean, if Harbour, if you aren't careful, Cavalier will be very okay with that.
Putting ourselves in the equation because of the type of the match, because the type of match it is between these two. We did see 5 minutes worth of stoppages at the end of the first half. Could see a lot more at the end of the second. Gavin Burton is on the park. And Burton has come on from Breckenridge.
Yeah, that was a change. Well, not necessarily player for player what I was anticipating, but I assumed that we would get O'Shane Staple reverting to right back at some point in the second half. And they're doing it by putting Gavin Burton on. I assumed he would be for an attacker, but yeah, it has happened. Still going to spend a lot of his time in forward areas, Staple.
Yep, I reckon. Because it's necessary. They're looking for a free kick. Their play continues. Comes out to Lewis, and the whistle now goes.
Chris J. Daly taking up that ball very quickly, laying claim onto it. Yeah, Giovanni Lane was a bit late there. And now we have another coming together. Staple. Emotions boiling over in this one.
What can Harbour View do here? Anglin is there, so too is Daly. And Daly drives that one into the wall. Angling, flicking that one inside, and no issues there for Vino Bartlett.
Also in the 50th minute, will come out of use number 7, Jashawn Angling, and in the 52nd minute,
Harding now.
substitution for Cavalier, number 8, in the shape Harbour, raised by the fire.
Anderson sends it out wide to Webster. Back to Anderson. Anderson driving that one across the face of goal. Thomas was screaming for it.
With Brackenridge off, there's going to be less bodies to deal with the Cavalier transition. Cavalier could have some joy for the rest of the game in that regard, but Harbour View do need a goal and they're searching for it here.
Murray gets a return from Anglin. Murray drives it! And Bartlett had to get something on it. Yeah, that's a good save. Bounced just in front of him, and he had to get there to dig it out. Here's a corner kick, easily repelled by Cavalier, and that's a throw-in to the Cavalier team. Staple trying to gather. Barrett does really well to win it. Now it's with Shanil Thomas finding Colin Anderson on his right. Can shoot, does! Fabulous! And he's reclaimed the top spot on the goal scorers chart in the Jamaica Premier League. That's his 19th this season. Prime Colin Anderson, putting the exclamation mark surely in this semi-final tie. And what a goal that was. 2-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate.
That is the final nail in the coffin. Harbour View have tried and tried, but one man that they haven't been able to stop is Colin Anderson. I just spoke about the lack of a defender there in that position to deal with that threat of him running in behind, with the fact that they have subbed off Brackenridge, and he exploited that space with almost immediate effect, finding the corner of the net, scoring his 19th goal of the season, and has almost certainly assured that we will have a new champion in the Jamaica Premier League.
We haven't seen anything from Harbour View tonight to indicate a chance of a comeback here. We haven't seen any sign of a miracle. What we have seen though is brilliance from that young man, Cavaliers number 9, who has gone up levels this season. Daly's whipped this one inside. At the back post is Murray. Ball's just coming down.
Has it? we're seeing a similar performance from Cavalier that we saw in the Link Cup semi-final. Tight win in the first leg against Dumbo Holding, but in the second leg they were extremely comfortable, and this is looking eerily similar. They ended up winning that tie 4-0 on aggregate. They're 3-0 up now.
Ming goes into the referee's book. He's shown the yellow card there. Wellington. Anderson. Scott free. Has space to run into. Talbot read that one well. Utilized the space to cover the striker. Well, the league's top marksmen, they have really come to the party in this semi-final round.
And they're going to face off seemingly in the final. Fitting.
Indeed. Daly trying to pull off something spectacular. Leng with the boot, the booming clearance. Here's the corner kick. No issues there for Bartlett. Daly switching it. Just on angling. Timar Lewis. No issues there for Bartlett. Harding, Lewis, Daly,
still comfortable for Cavalier. Harbour View not moving them around enough to trouble the back line. There's going to be 2 more changes from the Stars of the East. Roger Smith making way. No, Roger Smith coming on, I beg your pardon, for Shamari Dyer. Also going to be seeing Sean Daly come on for Timar Lewis. Probably the end of the season for those substituted. And we're seeing a similar tactic employed by Harbour View when trailing that we saw from Arnett Gardens earlier, where just lumping balls forward to basically no one who can attack them. Colorado Murray and Chris J. Daly are dropping off of the line. Who are they lumping these balls forward to? The 3 Cavalier centre backs.
Here's Wellington out wide. Staple. Daly. Mr. J. Daly swinging that one inside. Webster will collect. Oh, that's a lovely find, almost, to Anderson. Cavalier will be making changes of their own. Dwayne Allen coming on, Orlando Russell coming on for Cavalier.
I don't think Harbour will be glad to see the sight of Orlando Russell. Match winner, of course, in the first leg. His goal seems so long ago now. Christopher Ainsworth getting a very rare rest.
Chanel Thomas makes way for Russell. Probably Anderson is on the park to see if he can complete a hat-trick. Not with that kick and miss. Well, here's a chance that goes a begging.
Cavaliers still taking their sweet time over any stoppage in play.
Anderson. Well, this one is switched over by McCleary to Russell. Russell. Just getting rid of the cobwebs, I suppose. Orlando Russell with that attempt. Wellington now. Sean Daly. Anglin. Burton.
Second substitution for Harbour, the place is 66th minute. So, number 11, place number 8 will be replaced by number 16, Orlando.
Christopher J. Daly lining up a shot, skipping across the turf, wide of the mark. Russell. Lovely tape by Ronaldo Webster. Referee will stop play. There was a wayward hand in the face of Harding. Anderson again. Webster. Oh, that's a challenge that had to be 100% accurate, and apparently it was by Ajani Talbot. Webster is still feeling it. So Jay Smith now. Jashawn Anglin. Daly still trying to produce some magic here for Harbour View. God Stewart is on, and he has replaced Wellington, the captain.
Probably a little too late, that substitution.
Smith. Stewart. Daly. Daly's ball inside, too close to Bartlett. Post-mortem has begun. Ball touched across, and here's a shot. Good looking effort from Webster. But Palmer just keeping across to his right and collecting. Smith. Daly. Webster. Too much work for Colin Anderson to do. Well, that was given away. And here's Cavalier. Hitting that one on the fly. Russell. Oh, he has spilled that one, Bartlett, and safely in his arms now. I think Cavalier at times, they seek ways to entertain themselves.
Yeah, they do crazy things.
Well, you can safely say the football faithful, they have remained here at Sabina Park. Well, they're either the faithful or the delusional, probably hoping for a twist in this tale. Anglin's ball inside, Stewart with the header, no issues there for Vina Bartlett.
Which one would you classify us as?
The ones with no choice.
The obliged.
The obliged. Anderson. Well, there's to be no hat-trick for Colin Anderson. His night is done. 2 goals to his name though, and the man of the match in this semi-final. That was his first, leaping highest there, but the second one was an absolute peach. Look at this finish. Bang, into the far corner. That was enough.
Substitution in the 76th minute.
Smith. Burton figured that he should probably try one from distance himself. I think he's figured that there's not much to lose here, not from this position.
Yeah, they've already lost it all.
Harding with another hopeful ball. There's Omario Henry on for Colin Anderson. Henry has a couple of goals to his name. Mario Smith on for Ronaldo Webster. Ball knocked into space here. Collected by Henry. Does well. Oh, wonderful! But Harding recovers well. And Russell is looking for the corner. Persistence from Harding. Recovered so well from that position. Did really well. Had to get up quickly. Harding. And he's a little winded now, I suspect. Anglin. Ball sent inside, punched away by Bartlett. Wasn't too convincing, but Cavalier, well, they've given up the possession. Daly keeps his footing. It feels like a training session. A very casual training session. It has come across, and the whistle goes. Murray hasn't been given a lot of service here. As we take a look at the SportsMax at moment, and it's of course the second goal by Colin Anderson. Just some wonderful movement, but the finish into the far corner was excellent. Yep. Lovely ball played through from Shanil Thomas, and yeah, he's gonna wrap up that finish and take it home. That's SportsMax that moment of the game. Yeah, Garth Stewart just leaving a mark. Whatever little or much there was there. Recapping the goal on the SportsMax app. On the Cavalier bench too. More people are leaving. Ball played almost over the top. Talbot was in the way. Vital header away. Steep will be opting for the long throw here. Leng putting that one not quite into touch.
Just going through the motions at this point, both Cavalier and Harbourview.
Cavell Stewart, very much a staple in the very foundation of Harbourview. Angling with a wry smile, so too Giovanni Leng, who's always up for a battle, always up for a challenge, the Cavalier defender. staple. Now Daly. Stewart couldn't gather it. Leng comes out of defense. Charging forward now. Trying to switch the play to Russell. Barrett.
Once again, we want to thank those who made it all possible for the 2023 season. Sponsors, including
Roger Smith.
Foundation, the SDF, Digicel, SportsMax, Cooper, Mount Pleasant Football Academy, Chumpstead, Lake 876 Water, Boston, Conservative, Peer Group, Access Financial, Santiago, Tente, Perth Autograph, Money, Mastercard.
They're looking for a handle ball there, Harbour View. Called in go in their favour.
The fourth senior television. Once again, big thank you to the sponsors of the 2023 Jamaica Premier League.
Late challenge, and the yellow card is going to be shown to Johnny Talbot.
Yeah, Russell is certainly going to be through and goal there. Very little defensive cover, of course, left.
Smith. McCleary. Staple again going long. Stewart with a header all the way through to Bartlett.
Number 17, Johnny Talbot.
We're hearing 5 minutes of stoppages will be played.
Wow. Certainly seems like a lot.
Smith. And now Daly. Daly off the bar and behind.
Might have hit the back bar. That one from Krista J. Daly. Yeah, he did. Oh, that's right, man of the match.
No, we've already figured it out.
Okay.
Both positions in the game, minimum 5 minutes to be added to the second half.
But we don't have a lot else to speak about, so we can talk about it for a minute. Who do you think should be man of the match?
I mean, Colin Anderson.
Okay, enough said.
Kyle Ming was really good again, though, for sure. Captain's performance, great leadership around the back, marshaled everything. Whenever there was something to be done, he made sure he dealt with it very diligently. And it sets up what could be a extremely interesting final. We're sure to have new champions. Mount Pleasant will be taking on Cavalier. Cavalier champions in 2021 and 1981. Mount Pleasant get into their very first final. Colin Anderson will be facing off against Trevante Stewart, the two top marksmen in the league. We'll also be seeing, of course, two teams that I know Cavalier haven't shown too much of it today, but two teams that do know how to play the ball around well. So I think it's going to be a really interesting cat and mouse game. We saw that in the Link Cup quarterfinals. Cavalier with a final, semi-final, extremely narrow semi-final loss last season, and then yet another final this season.
Daly over the top. Yep.
Yeah. So a lot to talk about in terms of what to expect next week.
We could end up in a situation where the Golden Boot Award could be shared. Right now, with the advantage, Colin Anderson over Trevante Stewart by 1.
Do you reckon he will stay that way?
I have no idea.
You're not a betting man, aren't you?
Not a successful one.
As well.
Again, it's just amazing how they recycle talent and get emerging faces in the league. They had to rejig the puzzle when Atkinson and King left, Dwayne Atkinson and Richard King. And they've still managed to make do. And right now they are cruising by last year's champions as if they were standing still. That's a free kick on the edge of the box to Harbour View. Maybe a consolation for them.
I was about to say their fans would love it, but I looked around for a second.
Not many of them here. Well, at least there won't be a lot of traffic leaving. But I suppose that there are still fans watching at home, whether via the channel, scene.tv, the SportsMax app, the SportsMax YouTube page.
Well, then I think as long as people are hearing your voice, people will tune in, so you are very right.
That is an overstatement. So it's a free kick to Harbour View, and Bartlett looking to protect that clean sheet it's a long wall. It is central after all. 7 Cavalier players, 8 Cavalier players in that wall. Who will take it? Well, it goes straight through and held by Bartlett. Shot coming in from Staple. New champions will be crowned in the Jamaica Premier League. Cavalier, for the second time in 3 years, led by their talisman Colin Anderson, have made it into another showpiece finale in the Jamaica Premier League, powered by Digicel. And the champions dethroned in the process. Cavalier, they were in full control of this one. Rudolph Speed and the coaching staff, they always have a plan, and it was executed to deny Ludlow Bernard and his troops. Not the most attractive football game we've seen this season, and as Harbourview slump away to contemplate a failure tonight, Cavalier embraced the future and the promise of a possible third title. 2-0 on the night, 3-0 on aggregate. Cavalier with the victory and through to the final. As we take a look at the full-time highlights here, Harbourview, they had rear chances. Krista J. Daly was a rear bright light, lovely ball finding of Shane Staple. Didn't have power behind that shot. And the Cavalier were patient, and then the long ball from Adrian Reed finding Colin Anderson, and he got his first on the night, heading that one home. 1-0 to Cavalier. They were happy, and so was he. He's 18th on that occasion, level with Trevante Stewart. Then Webster, he had a wonderful game as well, feeding Ainsworth, and Chanel Thomas, I'm not sure how he missed that one. Murray, they're appealing for a handled ball there. Nothing was given. And then Webster hitting that one wide of the mark, but Palmer was unsure, decided to make the save anyway. Anderson drilling that one across the face of goal. Anglin finding Murray, and had to produce a good save there on that occasion. Bartlett. Thomas finding Anderson. Look at this finish. Right into the corner. And now he holds top spot on the goal scorers chart with 19. Wonderful finish there from Colin Anderson. Oh, that was peachy. That confirmed their place in the final. At the back post, Colorado Murray. Well over the top. Anderson finding Webster, hitting that one well, but Palmer going across and collecting. And yeah, none of the highlights in this one. Cavalier steady as they go into the final of the Jamaica Premier League. Cavalier with 14 shots, 7 on target. Harbourview with 24 shots, 10 on target. I'm not sure if it quite summed up the game properly, but there you go. 12 fouls committed by Harbourview, 3 more than those committed by Cavalier, who had 1 less corner kick than Harbourview with 5. Harbour View with the majority of the possession. Didn't do a lot with it, to be fair, at 57%.
Colin Anderson, man of the match, Kadeen Webley from Digicel, of course giving him his prize. Colin Anderson, well deserved as per usual. Colin, I know you love to score goals, I know you love to win. You did both of them tonight.
Yeah, first and foremost I want to say thanks to the Lord. If it wasn't for him, we would be out here doing this. I love football, I choose football, so you know, I'm really proud of this team.
You should be. Your team did really well, not only of course offensively with you, but defensively as well. Does that solid base give you a lot to work with when you're going forward?
Yeah. Our captain, kudos to him. He pushed us in training and we come out here and we deliver all the time.
You know, you're going on to the final, you're going to face Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant have given you tough games all across the season, but are you confident that you'll get the better of them in the final? Well,
Mount Pleasant is a good team and we have to give them a good one. But you know, when next week come, we will see what's going to happen.
All right, good 2 goals, congrats on the win and best of luck in the final.
Thank you very much.
Now we're moving on to Coach Ludlow Bernard of Harbour View. Coach, you won last year, but this year it just wasn't to be.
Yeah, you know, probably that's a flick of the dime, you know, but it was good while it lasted. And of course, I think we were gracious, you know, we handled ourselves in the latter part of the game, you know. Just unfortunate that we lost the first tie because it probably would have given us a better chance. But congratulations to Cavaliers, the winners of this game.
After they scored first, it was always going to be difficult for you. What do you think that the team could have done better to really overcome them today?
I still think we require a little bit more discipline and a little bit more patience anytime we come in front of their defense, because we knew they were going to set up like that. But I think the desired patience was lacking at times, and then of course the execution was not good enough. I think probably throughout the course of the game I'm not so sure that we were able to make Bartlett probably make a proper save, you know, and that was our downfall. And of course Cavalier would catch us on the counter, which is what we were expecting.
And Harbour View, of course, you're defending champions. You came into this game, you played well, you had a relatively good season. How do you rank it in terms of your overall play?
I'd probably just say 6 out of 10. There are a lot more things we could do better. The personnel that we have in place, of course, we suffered some injuries in the latter part, you know, and I think that hampered us. But we're not making any excuses. I think the squad gave a good account of themselves this season, and I have no problem going forward.
All right, well tried, coach. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Now we're moving on to the winning coach, technical director of Cavalier, Coach Rudolph Speed. Coach, it was a really good game plan by you and your team executed it really well.
Oh, definitely. You don't lose game if people don't score on you. So, you know, we're very drilled, versed in defending, and again, we keep another clean sheet.
I asked about the defense before the game. They really stepped up, especially your captain again today, Kyle Ming.
Oh, definitely. As I said before, I think he's probably the best defender in the league. And then he inspires players around him, so he talks, he controls the game and the atmosphere and the environment. He's such a good leader.
Yeah, the man of the match today, Colin Anderson, he spoke about how much of a platform he gives him to thrive, and boy did he thrive tonight.
Oh yes, and I thought he could have gotten another one and got a hat-trick, but so is the game. But we're just pleased that it's just an overall performance, and while everybody else was doing them thing, we're just quietly getting into the final. But before we go, I wanted to say something. This is the 4th final this year Cavaliers has qualified for. The women team, both finals, knockout in the league, and the men team now both finals, knockout in the league.
Yeah, so extremely successful all across the season, but I have to ask you, we're going into next week. Mount Pleasant always give you a tough time. You always give them a tough time as well. What are your feelings like going into that final?
I'm not feeling anything yet. I'll just think about it tomorrow. Then I'll come up with a plan and we'll see what happens.
All right, all the best in that final, coach. Really well played tonight.
Right, thank you.
From 4 to 2, and these are the two, Cavalier and Mount Pleasant. Mount Pleasant, of course, getting by Arnett Gardens 5-3 on aggregate, and Cavalier blanking Harbour View 3-0 on aggregate. Well, the 3rd place playoff on SportsMax 2 Sunday afternoon at 3 o'clock. Arnett Gardens against Harbour View. A lot of people expected that one to have been the final. But this is the final, beginning at 7 o'clock Jamaica time, 8 p.m. in the Eastern Caribbean. Mount Pleasant up against Cavalier. Mount Pleasant looking for their 1st star. And Cavalier, of course, looking to add to the 2 stars that they have right above the crest. You can watch that on SportsMax 2. That's it for our coverage here at Sabina Park. Cavalier through to another final. Mount Pleasant through to their first. On behalf of producer Ramon Stewart, director Michael Edwards, the hard-working production team here at the home of champions. Under the full moon, it's goodbye from Sabina Park.